I'm Phil Perry here with John Tomase and Cedric Maxwell. Tomase, I want to start with you because you wrote about this. You took to the interwebs and you let the hate flow when it came to Kyrie Irving and his antics yesterday.
Phil, it's a new paradigm. I'm just creating a new paradigm, Phil.
It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, so listen, this guy. So you listened to everything he said, and you couldn't have laid it out any better than we did in the open there. Everything is about looking ahead and this and that. And then the first time someone tells him he sucks, which I'm not a pro athlete. I've been told I suck many times, and I have not flipped off a single person who's ever said it to me. So to be a pro athlete in that situation and not be able to handle that because you are a spoiled prima donna who will not accept any blame, any responsibility for why your relationship with Boston fans sucks, to use their word. You can't accept any responsibility for that. You think that you are above being booed by the fans you left at the altar. By the way, you have since kicked their ass too many times to count, and people are sick of that. And so, yes, Kyrie, people don't like you, and you make it easy not to be liked.
He does. And I think a lot of the people that were watching that game yesterday feel the same way. But I know there's one guy who was calling the game who has a slightly different spin on it. So, Max, is this excusable on Kyrie's part at all?
Here's the first thing I hear. When you tell me, you say people say you suck every day. When you drive on the freeway in Boston and somebody say you don't flip nobody off, you've never done that. Well, you might be brand new to Boston, okay? But welcome to Boston.
Max. 10-2.
I'm telling you, the thing I believe about Kyrie Irving is that yes, he did what he did and all the things that happened. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way he reacted. I didn't like the way the fans reacted. But at the same time, Kyrie Irving just told us a lie. I'll give you that because everything he said, well, I don't do this and I'm not going to give him energy. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, you look at our fan base and our fan base is up in his grill. I don't know anybody I know, 18,000 people are screaming at you for 3.5 hours and telling you suck and everything else, that you're not going to have a reaction. Aren't you human? Don't humans do that?
Why can't your reaction be to drop 39?
That's not what humans do. I'm telling you about traffic in Boston. If I go out right now and I get to a light and that light turns green and I don't move immediately, what's somebody doing in Boston? They're on their horn blowing.
Yeah, you misinterpret what I said. People tell me I suck because of my job. They don't like what I write. And okay, fine, I suck. What do you want me to do, flip you off? Someone cuts me off in traffic or whatever, that's different. That's a human reaction. This is his job. His job is to go out there and play. And Max, all I would say to you is name another player who flips off the fans. I mean, guys get booed in every city.
Kevin Durant did the same thing to one of his fans in Brooklyn. Guy said, Kevin, take over the game right now. Kevin said, you shut the hell up and da. This is a new era of fans and fan behavior, and I think that we are all different. During my era, nobody said anything to fans. You were just pretty much like, okay, I'm going to play the game. But social media has changed all this for us now. That our reaction time is completely different than it was when I played. And every time we look around, it's getting more and more diverse.
He is hypocritical, though, when he talks about how he wants everything to be all hunky-dory and we just want to put it behind us and we don't want to live in the past. And then he comes out and, as John says, the first time he gets booed, he's telling somebody to perform an act.
Kyrie says this, which I love. He says, well, you guys don't know where I'm from. Kyrie, you went to a prep school. Then you went to Duke University. You didn't go to the bad streets of the ghetto.
That prep school right now is more than $40,000 a year.
So Kyrie, come on, give me a break about how you lived and how things went.
What's the line, though, Max? What's the line for a player? Because you're talking about having a human reaction and a player being within his rights to a certain extent. Is there a word that sets you off? Is it a gesture? I mean, what is the line here?
Let me say it like this. Kyrie could have really made it even worse. If he turned around right here on this film and turned around and said, I want this fan out and this fan out, they would have had to throw those people out. Now, what would the reaction been? Would it have been that much more severe if he had done that?
I would think the crowd would have an immediate reaction to that.
Yeah, so Kyrie could have made it even worse in his part by, saying, and we've seen players do this. We saw LeBron do it. We saw Boogie Cousins do it. Get people thrown out the arena because of something they said.
But usually in that case, you have every fan pointing at the people too, saying, get this guy out of here. I don't know that anyone said, listen, the one thing that we could hear was in the tunnel, and all these, you suck. I mean, gee, if you can't handle that, that is about your pathology. That is not about current mores or social media or any of that. That is about how Kyrie is wired. I am above criticism.
If they win the series, does the hate go away?
The hate doesn't go away, but hold on. The hate doesn't go away, but the way that it is, the power dynamic shifts. Kyrie has all the power now. If the Celtics win this series, Celtics fans have all the power. You can't be mad at him for beating you anymore because you've beaten him. And that changes the whole dynamic. Now, he's just a baby. Right now, the way Celtics fans are going after him, it's like you're spurned lovers, this and that. You beat him, you take all that power.
You disagree, Max?
No, I agree with what he's saying about the power. I think that is going to somewhat decrease because, you win the game. But at the same time, I look at Kyrie Irving, who he is. If he walks in this building right now, people are going to go crazy. What did A-Rod ever do to people around here? A-Rod that was
a vicious attack on Bronson Arroyo's glove that one time.
A-Rod could walk right now out in the street of Boston right now, not say anything, and people would start booing him. And that's just the villain people that they look in this city about who guys are. Bill Laimbeer comes in. Robert Parrish beat him down in the middle of the floor. People cheered about it. They were cheering. Come on.
He didn't even get a tech.
Yeah, he did.
It's just a foul.
I think even if the Celtics end up winning this series, the hate will remain, if not as strong, just about as strong for a long, long time. Yep. Giles, you feel as though Kyrie Irving might be the best or worst Boston sports villain of all time.
He's the best.
Is that fair?
He's the best Boston sports villain. Yes, he is, Max, because as he just said right there, he embraces it. There is a relationship with the fan base here where they're going after Kyrie and Kyrie's coming back after them. And it's also the fact that he was here for a few years. And that final year that he was here, especially 2018, 2019, we're just looking around saying, oh, man, we can't go on like this. And it's the fact that
A-Rod.
Oh no!
We've heard enough about A-Rod for one show. But Giles is right. He is in a special class in terms of hatred.
Well,
to me, I
think the reason why he's in that special class is because he is stirring the pot back.
Yes.
Very seldom you see players go back at fans like that. And because he's doing that, he's created a whole nother environment. The only person I'd say was different like that I remember was Bill Laimbeer, who embraced that, wanted that, got beat down on the floor by Robert Parrish and everybody to a man, cheer. Robert Parrish, I even had on my podcast, I said, Robert, were you up for? He said, man, nobody came to help him. I was just really surprised. So,
hey, do you think it's helping or hurting, though, the Celtics' cause? The fact that Kyrie is playing into all this, because it seemed like it motivated him to pretty high heights yesterday.
The last play of the game when it really helped the Celtics. And the reason why, because Kyrie wanted to put the dagger in at the end. He wanted to be the man. He wanted to be the guy that came out and said, and run to the middle of the floor and said, damn it, I knocked down this shot. But because he kept handling the basketball, they trapped him one time. Here's another trap, and he couldn't get the basketball away. Finally has to get rid of this basketball for a bad shot. So it helped in the last situation.
I just think it helps the entire theater of this series. You know what I mean? Just the fact that both sides are feeding off of each other, and there's really nothing you can do to stop it. You're not going to stop Celtics fans from jeering Kyrie.
You're not.
And are you really going to be able to stop Kyrie from responding to it? And do you want to stop Kyrie from responding to it?
After a while, I'm doing like this. Don't poke the bear.
Well, I totally agree with you there.
You don't go into.
I totally agree with you there.
You don't go to the circus and go, hold on a minute, let me get to the bear.
But you're saying it helped them on the most important play of the game.
The last play. But
I mean, that's the most that wins them the game.
Yeah, it did. But early in the basketball game, that motivated Kyrie. You could see the look in his eye. He was feeding off the energy that the fans were giving him.
As good as we feel today, if that game, just 1 second, if that 1 second was completely different,
absolutely,
we're feeling completely different about the fact that, you provoked Kyrie and he responded the way he did and won the game for Brooklyn. And good thing it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, just as big as the fact that you have all these days between, that you don't play until Wednesday. So us broadcasters and us media people, we have an opportunity now to dissect this even more and make it even more of a story. So that is one of the good things about, elongating this series.
All right, Max, you were mentioned on national TV today.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you saw this.
I was.
There's Shannon Sharp saying they did this to Mr. Russell. If you read his book, I think Cedric Maxwell can speak to this.
Ooh.
You just need to talk to some of the Black Celtics players that played there. Can you imagine what the opponents get? So clearly, Shannon Sharp thinks race has something to do with this interaction between the fans and Kyrie Irving. What say you?
Let me be like Will Smith. If he was around right now, I'd go slap him because I've never talked to this man.
I was going to say, what kind of relationship do you have with him?
And I am Team Sharp. I love Shannon Sharp. I love what he does. But in this situation, I never spoke to Shannon about this. And matter of fact, for me, being in Boston as a player, I never heard anything like that at the Garden, at a Celtic game towards me. Now, I'm not naive not to think that something isn't being said sometimes in a racial way. But for me, I've never heard that at a Celtic basketball game.
All right, Cedric Maxwell, Tom Giles, thank you very much.